Welcome to the FaceTime with God podcast. I'm your host, Kay Farrar, and yes, you have tuned in to the right place because we're bringing Christ to the culture and the culture to Christ because the gospel's not for old times, it's for all times. So we've got relevant topics, real people, and we're starting right now. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, today we have another new podcast that I am once again excited about. We are welcoming to the set none other than Mr. Nolan Griffin. So thank you for being with us, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes,
I'm honored.
We are so glad to have you. So we're going to warm up today. This might be our last trip with the little intro cards, but you have a few cards there that you've already picked out, but you have not seen.
No.
So go ahead, pull one out of your deck there, and
should I be afraid?
No.
Be very afraid.
No, this is our way of, not that you need to be relaxed or loosened up, but to let the audience get to know you a little bit before we deep dive. So.
Eeny, meeny, miny. Mo, I'll do purple.
And everybody knows my puppies by now.
What is something you do differently than most people? What is something you do differently than most people?
I hope we don't have a dog fight.
I mean, they could have been easier than this. What is something you do differently than most people? I would say eat.
Eat?
And the only reason I say that because most people are not vegans.
Vegans. All right. So are you a fanciful vegan, or are you a true blue vegan? You're vegan all day?
I'm true blue, and I'm not the best cook. So
okay, that helps your veganism.
Yeah, that
you
means
just bite off some broccoli.
Struggle to the finish line. As long as I make it.
Okay. So how long have you been vegan?
About 7 years, but I've been a vegetarian almost going on about 30 years now.
So you went from vegetarian to vegan. What did that change look like?
Well, first, when I was growing up, I didn't care for meat.
Okay.
I'm not this person, I'm not an activist. I'll wear it. I just won't eat it.
I got you. Leather shoes are not a problem.
Yeah. So it was a matter of when I got old enough and could afford my own, because, in my house, you ate what was on the table. So
I like that house.
When I was able to work and buy my own food, I cut out pork and beef, and then I think eventually one day, and I don't have a good story because most people, what's your story? One day I just woke up saying, I just stopped eating meat. And it was that simple. And part of it, I think subconsciously may have been to my family history, because I saw as a young child many health issues.
Okay, in your family.
Yeah. So I'm very health oriented, and I wonder, subconsciously things could, affect you. So yeah. That was not what I thought at the time. I just didn't care for it. Okay. But looking back, I noticed a lot of, my grandmother was very obese, and she didn't conquer that till later in her life. Okay. And I associated as a kid the fat from the chicken to the fat on her legs. I got you. I remember this. I can vividly see that memory. And I think that probably affected me growing up. I can't say it, but I remember that memory very strongly.
It's so funny. I say this jokingly because in our community, one of the little sayings that people accept and say quite a bit is "Black don't crack," right? Mm-hmm. And so I said in a funny way, that one of the reasons is they have now mentioned, eating things like cartilage is, or chicken, full bone chicken is a really good source of collagen. Right? And if you remember back in the day, you know, those ladies eating those chicken, boy, they would crack it, you know. They would open the bone and eat the marrow and everything out of it. And I said, see, that's one of the reasons to see everybody else talking about, okay, well, let's boil the chicken, make sure there's no skin on it. Fine, but you're getting rid of the collagen. So, but you got rid of all of that, and your health is the better for it.
Yes.
You would say.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had a lot of health risks, which I found out later in my family that I don't have.
Okay.
So.
Cool. All right. It's working out for you. Yeah, pick another card. Pick another card.
Oh, this one easier. That was rough.
That was a good one.
I'm going to go with green.
Okay.
What was happening the last time you laughed so hard that you cried? What was happening? I laugh a lot. Laughter is good as medicine. But I cried.
Oh, your best laugh, you know.
Well, this is a church joke, but it's the truth. I was at a church service one time, and the plant, back then it was that plant on a little podium, it fell off, and the elder who was in the pulpit said, "Oh," and used a cuss word.
You are kidding me. In the pulpit. Were you in the service, or is something you just saw on YouTube?
Oh my goodness. Sorry to put it on your podcast, but oh my, he said "oh" and the S word. I was like,
really?
Oh.
And then
we fell out.
And so, and so that lets you know if it's been slipping out somewhere at home, apparently, just not normally in the church service.
Oh, he's the seats out to cover my face. It's okay. He's the seats there. I'll be honest.
Okay. All right. I'm after the podcast, I'll ask you what church it was.
Oh my goodness.
I can see that you cried. That was Savior in the service.
Oh no, this is before her. But I remember. Oh my.
What type was this? A Kojic church?
Oh no, we can just keep moving.
Okay. All right. It's good old fashioned Baptist, right? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I remember. Oh my God.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. One more card. These are good. This is a good warm up.
I still remember that to this day. Oh my goodness. I'll take the blue this time. Maybe it's better. What are people usually surprised to find out about you? I think on first impression, sometimes people think I'm mean. And actually find out I'm actually nice. Because I love people. Okay. But they may not be expressed a lot of times. Okay. And they see me, he's mean. No, I like people. I think I'm nice. I'll let my wife make that determination.
You look straight down the line. Then.
Yeah, because I'm to the point. I'm to the point in conversation. So. Okay.
Is there a reason for that? Or it's just your personality?
Just my personality.
You still got tears from laughing at that.
I know. I'm sorry. And I remember that. Oh
you answered that truly there, because we can see you laugh till you cry just now.
Yes, I mean it was an event. There's certain things you just don't expect.
Was the church full that day?
I can't even remember. All I remember is him.
I hope it wasn't on the Easter service.
No. It wasn't. It was a regular, like a Wednesday night Bible study.
Oh, Wednesday night. Okay.
And the pastor got up. He said, "Lord, I got cussing elders." It was just a day. It was.
What did the man do? Did he get up and leave off the stage?
No, he was embarrassed, but it was,
Everybody had such a good laugh. I guess
that was good.
It worked out.
You know how you sitting and people like, and then all of a sudden they just
I'm
just
glad
let it go. Trying to keep it in.
Yeah, but give everybody something to pray about.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I got a Bible study we're getting ready to put out called "Watch Your Mouth." So maybe we'll use that story as a lead in. If we can get a copy of it on video, that'll be good. So
one of my former pastors say, "Well, if it's not in you, it won't come out of you." Well, and he said so. Yeah, make sure it's not in you. Yeah, that was
or already get it all the way out.
Yeah, that was fun.
Work on it until it's gone. So okay, so cool. So I'm excited because this is sort of like an open discussion, and I don't think we've had one totally open beforehand. Yep, you can just toss those to the side. So tell us what's on your heart, your mind, your thoughts. What would you like to share with us today? We are all ears.
First, I'm honored to be here, and I want to celebrate you, to take time to celebrate you, because I'm married to a wonderful woman, and you have had such a great influence on her life. Wow. So I want to say thank you. Wow. Thank you for being you. and being willing to be, you throw this word around, authentic a lot, but you are authentic and open. And I've been fortunate to be a recipient of some of the work that you put in and sowing into her. So I celebrate you.
Thank you, sir.
So
I receive. Thank you so much.
And I honor my wife and my 3 kids somewhere. But today I really want to talk about freedom from sexual perversion. I think now in the body of Christ, we are still stuck in this prosperity mentality. God's going to give you a house and a car. And really, when you're looking at New Testament, it's more so about character and things. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom. I don't have to worry about the things if I'm seeking the kingdom, because the guarantee is all these other things will be added.
Wow.
But if I can get you kingdom focus, and I think a lot of times we have veered from that to be materialistic focus or whatever the focus could be anything. But I feel now in the body there's a return because the world is doing what the world is supposed to do. It's getting worse. And that's what they're supposed to do. Yeah. But the body of Christ should be getting better.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm looking for an offering. I didn't bring my offering with me today. I didn't know I was going to get this.
Yeah, so when I look at the landscape, I'm saying, where is the body getting better? Yeah. And I want to be a part of, the better. Because one of the things, we're both natural and spiritual, and a lot of times we make spirituality and the Holy Spirit spooky, and it really is not. But when you're dealing with carnal people, they can't understand spiritual things. And we're trying to give spiritual things to carnal people, so we're not winning them to the kingdom. What is carnal that I can see? That you're married, you're faithful to your wife, that you are physically, we're living epistles read of men. People ought to be looking at our lives saying, hey, you got a strong marriage, you're physically fit, you're doing well on your job. How are you doing all of those things? And the response should be, then I give credit to who the credit belongs to. It's because of God. And now that we're seeing such unbalanced lives, because one of the things, even and I'm going to get to this sexual perversion in a minute, we have trained.
Take your time, because you on a roll. But we look, in fact, let me just say this. I'm so glad I finally got somebody that'll talk about the topics that I like to talk about. And I was telling the team last night, I said, well, I got a message coming about watch your mouth. We did a message. I don't know if you saw my No Compromise video. I'm going to want you to watch that after this. Okay. Then, what I talk about yesterday? I'm trying to remember what did I talk about yesterday? Some kind of sin.
Watch
and then talk about another sin. I was like, but I got to change it so it doesn't sound like I'm constantly. So I'm just letting you know I'm with you. We are with you. And we are all ears, and we need to hear this from another perspective. And I love the way you introed it. So you on a roll, so keep on your roll.
Yeah, well, again, as I look across the landscape, I'm seeing that we're training people, because with the breakdown of the family, some essentials that were learned at home are no longer learned. So just like the school system, in a lot of cases, have had to take on certain things that normally were taught in their home, the church has to be equipped. Yeah. So, for instance, we're handicapping people when we're throwing oil on people and slapping them for us. A guy going to turn around, no, and he's going to give you a house. I don't need somebody to tell me, God, give me a house. What I need is somebody to teach them how to budget, how to have good credit. And then you can get a house.
Somebody can throw.
So that's don't throw it. My phone. But that's we're not teaching line upon line and precept upon precept. That's carnal and that's spiritual. So I'm not. I don't have to pray. Lord, I need a car because I have the good enough credit and I manage my money to get a car. Yeah. I'm having to pray, Lord, heal my mother of dementia. That's what I need God for. I need God for situations that
He
God
can only do.
Yeah, I need God for God's situation.
Exactly.
So, and we're constantly asking God for a situation that you were supposed to handle. Just like the Bible say, I bring my body under subjection. I mean, you have to do some work. Yeah. So a lot of times, and so when you get to the point where, well, Lord, I've done my part, now it's on you. The problem is we're not doing our part. And we expect him to do our part and his part. God only shows up for God's situation.
Yes.
So a lot of things.
Look, in other words, that's what I made you for. Take dominion in the earth.
Do it.
Yes.
Do it. And so we're not teaching good balance. And you're praying for miracles for stuff that you practical knowledge and sound principles will cover. But now, since you haven't done it, just like people at tithe, you give your 10%, think you clear, and spend your 90% any kind of way, and then say, Lord, I need a financial miracle. No, you need financial management. You don't need financial miracle. You need financial management. And then watch where you're sowing your seeds. So those type of things frustrate me in the kingdom, because we're supposed to be getting better. We're not supposed to be laden with debt. And I was just blessed that, when I came up in a Pentecostal, they valued education, but they held on to some things that were not fruitful, in my opinion, because deliverance is not always instantaneous. It's a process. And really things like financial and all that stuff, that's a process. You have to work that out. I'm not a fan of bankruptcy. I know it's legal and it's a process, but you incur that debt. Now, God gives grace, and, we have grace, and I'm not coming against someone that has chosen that route. Yeah. But because there are different life circumstances that may have caused that. Let me be very clear. You can't make it broad. But if you're out here just recklessly spending and using that as an out, that doesn't speak well. Living epistles read of men. That doesn't speak well. What if the judge that you're going before sees that you're not being a witness to him about the kingdom? So a lot of the things the Lord deals with me about is, Nolan, watch your life. And that's the biggest thing, watch your life. Because if people read you, and so, because most people do what they see you do, not what you say. So that's one of the convictions. Now I'm a curve. You ready for a curveball? Okay. Go ahead. So I curved back to the issue of sexual perversion. So I'll give you a little history. When I grew up, the seed of the ground was planted for sexual perversion. A lot of stuff I didn't even know. There was some generational curse things that were involved in that. But I was very close to my mom. My father was present physically, but not in any other way. Okay. He's very mean. And so I didn't have a good relationship. In fact, none of us really had a good relationship with him. Okay. So and real quick, tell us, don't lose your thought, but tell us a little bit more about your family. So it was you and how many siblings? Oh, it was me, and it's a total of 8 of us, but 7 living. One died when I think she was less than 2. Wow. She was between me and my older brother. And interestingly enough, as 8 of us, my mom was pregnant 7 years straight, because 2 of my siblings were 11 months apart. Wow. So it's like, bam, if I don't know the ages, I just have to go up or down. So the environment, I was exposed to porn at a very young age. No, by a friends. We knew where it was. The magazines were, and we would go and look at it and oogle at it. So, and it wasn't seen at that time. It wasn't seen like the knowledge we have today about it. Maybe when I was a kid, so they may have had knowledge. I didn't have the knowledge at the time how detrimental porn can be. So with that, a father who treated me very badly. The ground was sown because my emotional outlet, then you go on through puberty and all that, and my emotional outlet. And I didn't know that what I was feeling, because there was no conversation about sex, was normal or unnormal. I just had these feelings. What do I do with it? And I wanted to feel love. And I wanted to feel the affection from my father. And that was perverted. And so my first experience was with a man. Wow. And
this is so good, Nolan, that you're sharing this. Keep going.
So my mind was wrapped up. And mind you, I grew up in the church. People saw things, but they never addressed it. And part of the reason is they didn't know how to address it, because they were found out later, dealing with their own stuff. Yeah. Because it was not an area that was talked about. All right, so look, one second. Because I want to take our time on this, because it's very important. So you were saying that you wanted affection from your father,
but you weren't getting it. So that, in a way, was a gateway to probably some man messing with the child or something, or older somebody in your neighborhood, whatever. I'm sure you're going to get into that more. But that affection, somebody showed you attention that you weren't getting from your dad. Yes. You think that was the gateway?
Yes, there's part of it. But let me tell you, it was also a spiritual component. Wow. Because I don't have the story where necessarily I was taken advantage of, but it was something I sought after. Wow. And I will say this, there was a convenience store that was around the corner that had pornographic magazines. And as a kid, you want to see it. And I ran to look. And I'm telling you, I opened the magazine. I looked at women all the time. And then when I opened the magazine, it was a male one. Literally, I can not feel it the same thing, but a spirit came over, like, whoosh.
Really?
Literally at that moment.
Really? And how old?
Demonic presence.
How old?
I was about 9 years old.
Wow.
Came over me, and I immediately craved what was in the magazine. Wow. Never had the experience before in my life. Wow. Didn't know what it meant. Wow. Did not know what it meant. And
why were the people in the store, so y'all would just go?
Because it was harmless.
Back in the day, what you say?
Yeah, they thought it was harmless, back then. The cashier turned her head and the little kids look at the magazine, Look back, I won't date myself.
I don't even know, do they have those magazines out now?
I don't think so. I don't even know. Huh. That was back then. They used to have them on the shelf.
It was a man, do you remember which magazine it was?
I don't even remember that.
Because did they have the men separated from the women, or
it was all mixed in?
I'm trying to figure that. Okay, all right, go ahead.
And so at that point, it was just like, it was a battle from that point forward.
9 years old.
And so I got involved. I became sexually active early. And I wondered, why was such a, I'm thinking strong. I remember laying in my bed one time and praying, and this is when I was seeking freedom. And I remember when I had, at one point, and I'm sort of not going the exact timeline, when I was seeking freedom, and I decided to stop. You're fully conscious, but you're not fully awake. That's the only way I can put it that way. Okay. And I remember, and somehow, because then your voice can't, you screaming, but you're not saying anything.
Yeah,
and I
think
finally
that's the same experience.
Jesus. And the figure is a black shadow just flew out the window.
You said a black shadow?
Just flew out the window. Got up on me and flew out the window. So when people talk about demonic, this is one example. I know that that does happen, but that's power in the name of Jesus.
Yes.
And that's the thing that we don't, I think we uplift more so the issue. I want to uplift the power of Jesus. And so going through that, it was a very difficult time because I was different. So some of my behavior was more effeminate than other guys, even though I was a big, for my age, I was mostly taller than everybody. But God had to work on me understanding, Psalms 134, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And be okay with how he made you. And I went through the season of trying to fit in. But I'm going to fast forward a little bit. My mom knew something was going on, but it wasn't a conversation that we had. She just knew to pray.
She knew to pray. Now, look, tell me again with your siblings, because now I'm thinking about the male figures in your life, and we know about your dad.
I had older brothers.
You had older brothers.
Yes.
Did they have similar experiences, or you don't?
No, what happened was because there was so much hell going on in our house. Actually, my father was a deacon in the church, and an incident happened. I won't go into details because it involved too many people. Incident happened, and the bishop at the time had to come to our house and address my father, and actually removed him from being a deacon. Remember that night because.
For was it like a fight or?
Yeah, it was a
sexually.
No, it wasn't sexually, but it was an incident that happened at the home.
I got at the home. Okay, yeah.
I guess when everybody passed away, I got you.
I understand. We have to respect people.
Yeah. So, he was removed, but our house was constantly, and he would travel a lot. When he left, it would be peaceful. But when he came, it was just not a comfortable place to be. We did not. And I don't know if you want to see it from your perspective, but I can tell you this: all of us internalized a lot of stuff because we didn't want a lot more pain for my mom to have to deal with it. So, as kids, you take on a burden that you shouldn't take on. So I internalized a lot of stuff till I got old enough to, and that's when I really became mean because.
Oh, say mean?
Yeah, because when you finally get to the point where I ain't afraid of you, it becomes more confrontational. In fact, he put me out the house when I turned 18 or so.
So were you engaged with people in the community at the time?
Yes.
And you were hanging out with different guys?
Yeah, I was very sneaky.
Okay.
So you wouldn't know it. The only place of peace for me was in church.
And
that was the only place
that. Even
I found
with your dad
peace.
Being a deacon who wasn't right, but you still, the Spirit of God was still in that church.
Because my mom, I give a lot of the credit to my mom because she taught us what was right. She, I won't say she was powerless, but when you're not equipped to handle certain things and certain things are not discussed, you handle it the best way you know how. And she did it the best way she knew how. But the more knowledge you gain, you learn how to do things differently. I don't blame her. She worked within the level of knowledge that she had at the time. Because we've taught, so and I don't have any, ill feelings about it. That's what she knew at the time. And hey, she was growing. At the time, she was a housewife with 8 kids. She didn't have any resources. Now, she did go back to school, finally got her degree, and left them. I'm not advocating for a divorce here. You hear me, people?
I got you. Go, mama.
You can't be like folks just abusing you.
Exactly.
Because you're kingdom. So I'm fast forwarding a little bit because a lot of twists and turns. You got about 1,000 twists and turns to every statement. So God started working on me. I always saw the end, even though I was in the midst of it. I knew that wouldn't be my life. But he threw another twist because I was always attracted to women. It was not an issue. So then I became. When I tell people a lot of the stuff you see,
the player from the Himalayas.
I think a lot of people what they're seeing played out now with the P Diddy and all these other things.
And I don't.
It's not necessarily. You get to a place where you don't have a preference. You're just a sex addict. It becomes a drug to you. So it don't matter, male, female, no matter what it is. You are a depositor of what they want to give. They don't care about you. And one of the things young ladies need to listen to now, listen to all the music, all the secular music. It's always about the guy, what I can do to you. It's not about the now, first of all, sex is supposed to be within the confines of marriage.
Amen.
Hear that through that lens. But we got to address natural and spiritual. But if you listen to all the music, you'll condition. Because all the music now is about, from a male perspective, what I can do to you. Most of it. What I can do to you, bend you over, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing about caring for the woman, nothing. It's all just sex. And when you're programmed to that and the proliferation of pornography, you can see the results we have now. You have all these single parent homes. There's no regard for marriage, none of that. And again, the world is supposed to get worse. But where's the church getting better when 50% of marriages in the church are ending in divorce? So how are we being a living epistle read of men? So then you're going to say, okay, when the gay marriage thing come out, and people just act in ignorance, But God hate faggots or gays. But God hate your obesity. Pull back from the table. That's gluttony. Sin is sin. So the balance was there, but God is not a fan of divorce. We just pick one out instead of saying, all of us are having an issue that we have to deal with, and we're working towards perfection and pleasing God.
Now, one thing I just want to jump in and add voice to. God, and I know I'm pretty 100% sure you agree with this statement, but if not, you tell me. And I don't think you have a problem with that. The only thing I would say is that Real simple. I'll just use the expression everybody knows. God does not hate the sinner. He hates the sin.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And going to my teaching that I haven't ministered yet on the question of sin.
Stay tuned.
He doesn't hate it for him because you're acting a jack. Don't mess up heaven at all. The streets are still gold. Yeah. The gates are still made of pearl. And God is still on his throne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he did not define sin because it bothered him so much personally, because we have to understand God is a person.
I'm stealing that, by the way. Everything's saying, go ahead.
Because he has emotions, because he created us in his image.
Yes.
Otherwise, Jesus would not have cried at Lazarus' death, knowing that he was going to raise him. But he cried because he saw Mary and Martha.
I'm stealing that too. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
Copyright.
So God is a person who cares about you and me and everybody listening.
Yes.
So he said, don't do that sin, because it's going to hurt you.
Yes.
And I don't want that for you.
Yeah.
And so people sometimes are turned off by when we explain right from wrong, because Satan has twisted it like, oh, you being goody-goody, or you not allowing me to do this, or, God's going to be mad at me. No, baby. You are about to hurt yourself. And we're trying to tell you, don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah. So the only thing I just want to say, he hates that sin because it hurts you. But he loves you more than the sin. Yeah. And one of the perverted things that the world system puts out to dull the ears of people from hearing about God's best for them is that God is mad at you. God hates you because you're whatever, because you're gay, because you're lesbian, because you're child, and I made up so many things nowadays, honey. I don't even know what it means. Don't even want to look it up. Yeah. Okay? No, that is a lie, people. God does not hate you. In fact, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to give it back to you. God did not even die for the Christian. Jesus is not really so much for the Christian. He lives in the Christian. But he died to save the people that need to be saved, who are the non-Christians. So he's for the Muslim. He is for the Buddhist. That's who he's for. He's for the non-believer. He's for the atheist. He's your answer. If you're a Christian, you already got the answer. The healer didn't come for the well folk. He came for the sick people. So I'm saying it's very twisted, and it turns people off when we say God hates you because you're falling short. That is a lie from the pit of hell. So family, let us know. What do you think? I know you got a nugget. Come on, put something in the comment. It would really bless our team, and it would help our channel. Please give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and also hit the bell, because we will be back with more great content. We would love your ideas. Let us know. Also, would you like to be a part of the team? We would love to welcome you. Let's do it. And whatever you do, do it with all your heart as unto the Lord and not unto men, knowing that it's of the Lord that you shall receive the reward of the inheritance, because you serve the Lord Christ.